I'm legally insane, and hidden behind these adult-sized diapers, which I am wearing, are 20 Nintendo Switch games, and I'm about to show you why they call me Ball Blower Billy. Because I'm about to blow my balls off right now, live on camera, and you're about to find out why. Let's get started. All right, I just got back from the hospital. I keep a surgeon on speed dial. The hospital knows me. I go to the emergency room every week. He knows I'm picking up nothing but bangers. He knows. Some of them I get from his mother. Get them for cheap. I get all my games for cheap. So let's find out what I got. We're going to start off strong, guys. I got to be real careful with this one. In fact, I should have gloves on. This is a sealed Escape from Bug Island for the Nintendo Wii. Did I mention that this is sealed? Now the catch is, I'm going to get this graded too, by the way. Now the catch is the seal isn't all that great. It has a couple of flaws. It's like got a wrinkle, I think the camera's picking up that wrinkle right there. It's a little wrinkle in the seal. Like this ain't going to get a high grade, but it's not exactly very common to find a sealed Escape from Bug Island, which is a rare hidden gem as is. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down. That game is going to make it into my Nintendo Wii prices are going up series. Link in the description below. I'll link to that series. It's a complete hidden gem. And here's what I like to tell people. Because it got bad reviews. Mostly because reviewers complained and gamers complained about the controls. Understandable. Very common occurrence with Nintendo Wii games. But here's what I like to say. If you're looking at a Wii game and you're like, oh, well, that game sucks, or the market's never going to pick up on that one, or whatever it may be, ask yourself, what if that game, so what if Escape from Bug Island, what if this was on the PS2? Same game. Nothing's changed other than the controls. Get rid of the motion controls, which I think the market will warm up to eventually. There's a whole generation that grew up on the Wii. The Wii is their Nintendo, and they're entering the workforce. They're just starting to enter the workforce, or will be very soon when they finish college, etc. And those guys don't mind motion controls. Those guys are buying Wii games. In addition to the smart collectors like myself. I never grew up with that one. I played it. I had it back in the day. I got a little bit late. The point is, imagine that if that was on the PS2. And it was just as rare as it is on the Wii, but on the PS2. What do you think that game would be trading for? A lot more than it currently price charts for, which is $28.61 CIB Canadian dollars. I should have wrote the USD equivalents. I forgot. Sealed copy goes for $63.04 price charting price. It's roughly accurate. I paid $32 sealed, which at the time you could still get some sealed copies. I think maybe I saw one on eBay at the time for $35. You can't get one for $35 anymore. You'd be lucky if you can even get one. I did see one, but I think I only saw maybe one sealed copy that was decently priced. So eventually you're not going to be able to get one at all. But the point is, if that was on the PS2, this game would already be at least $300. 10 times what I paid for it. Minimum. Because that's sealed, it'd probably be going for $500. Hell, maybe $1,000. I mean, who knows? It's not a 10 out of 10 game, though. Just remember that. It's a it's a third-person survival horror game. Just want to throw that out there. That's why I had to blow my balls off earlier, but I knew that was going to happen. So, I pre-booked that emergency room appointment with my surgeon. Next up, we got Death Jr. Root of Evil. This was recommended by a viewer, and he said it's a hidden gem. And you know what? I've seen it pop up in a couple of hidden gem YouTube videos. More and more people are starting to mention this one. More and more people are starting to catch on to this one. But my favorite part is that it's 2-player co-op. I'm always looking for new co-op games, hidden gem co-op games. I love me my co-op games. Nothing better than a good co-op game. Nothing better. Other than Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim for the Nintendo Switch. I'll admit those are better. Chrono Trigger, I haven't played it yet, or haven't beat it yet. I've only got to dabble in it, but I hear that one's pretty good too. Those three might be better than a good co-op game, but everything else, co-op games are always the best. King of Dragons, Super Nintendo. What more do I gotta say? King of Dragons, Super Nintendo, best beat 'em up of all time. So this is a great hidden gem co-op game. I paid, what did I pay for that? You might want to pick this one up, by the way. That's a little tip I'm telling you in advance because I'm going to be talking about this in the future. I paid $13 on eBay plus tax. Price charts for $24.80. Ooh, this was a gem. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. I used to have 2 copies. I sold one of them during the peak of the Spider-Man mania when all the Spider-Man games were going to the moon. Some of them still are. They're still climbing. But the Wii version rode the coattails and typically does ride the coattails of the other consoles, same version game. And I sold it, but I kept this one because this is a special edition I never hear anybody talk about, and there's not many copies available on eBay. Read that bottom left corner. Negative Zone suit unlock code inside. I don't know if this was a Walmart exclusive, what the deal is, probably a GameStop exclusive. But here's what's interesting. Well, even if you find the one that says the unlock code, you still have to find one that has the actual code. You can't unlock it if you don't have the code. Although I guess you could look it up online or just memorize this. So I'm assuming that you literally need this version to unlock the suit and that you can't just put that code into any version. That's what I'm assuming. I could be wrong. It's the only version that advertises it. It's very rare. I paid $11, but for this version, you're gonna pay a lot more. What's the price charts for $28.01 Canadian dollars? But that doesn't specify the Zero Suit version. All I'm going to say is go look on eBay and you'll see how uncommon / rare that particular version is. It's like the Red Hulk for the 360. GameStop Red Hulk version, where you get to unlock basically a cosmetic change. That's all it is. GameStop exclusive. That thing's worth a fortune. Well, that's equivalent to this version here. I paid $11 for that, CIB. Oh, here's a gem. Wacky World of Sports. Pick this one up. Hidden gem. Thank me later. If you weren't wearing a diaper, that's on you, buddy. That's on you. Who made this game? Sega. This is a party game that nobody knows about. Ain't nobody talking about it. In fact, I didn't know about it. How I found out about this game was somebody posted it in an auction. And even I myself, the king of games, the king of the retro games, the king of the Nintendo Wii, the king of the Xbox 360, the king of the Super Nintendo, I didn't know about this game. And I would have ignored it, but he said, the seller, when he auctioned it off, he said that this is a good game. He said, something along the lines of, don't sleep on this one, guys. This is actually a really fun game. It's not shovelware, because you look at it and you think instantly shovelware. This is a shovelware title. There's a million titles like this. There's a million pieces of garbage on the Wii that would use this exact title. Right? Like 100 sports in one game, where all the sports games are garbage. They paid some guy in China to make every single one of the games in one weekend. Right? And then they go print 10,000 copies and sell it in the discount bin. Well, this ain't one of those. There's actually 10 wacky sports. So it's not 20. You might be thinking, well, there's only 10. That doesn't sound all that great. But think about it. Because there's only 10, it means they put effort into the 10 that are here. The replayability is here. 4-player party game. Let me read you the events. thick manual, but this manual has French in it as well. Let me read you the events. They're all fun and funny. We got tuna tossing, furniture racing, fire lejeppin. I don't know what that one is. That was a weird one. It looks like a long jump one. That's the only one that I don't understand. I don't know how to say it. So then we got tuna tossing, furniture racing. Okay, I'm not making this up. Furniture racing, extreme ironing. That's where you're like, it looks as if you're skydiving and ironing at the same time. Oh, wait, let's see what it says. Iron t-shirts in rhythm to the musical beat in the most unthinkably extreme and dangerous situations. Oh, dang. Follow the on-screen direction and get the moves continually correct in sequence to receive bonus points. So extreme ironing. Try ironing while skydiving, right? Log cutting, cheese rolling. The cheese rolling looks almost like curling, and a version of curling. Lawnmower racing, card boxing. The card boxing one looks the most interesting. I think you're actually boxing while playing cards. I like I said, I gotta try it. I haven't played. This is a party game. You know, I'm gonna need four friends to play this. 3 friends at least. You try getting 3 friends at my age, buddy. You try it before you say, "Oh well, how have you played it yet?" You only need 3 friends to play it. Yeah, try getting 3 friends when you're almost 40, buddy. Score a knockout. Face off against your opponent in up to 6 altering rounds of boxing and concentration because you're playing cards at the same time. Ice golf. Oh, that sounds fun. Mud sliding. I don't know if that was 10 or not, but that's what's in the manual. I paid $7 and $3. I actually ended up getting 2 copies. Now, the first one I paid $7 for, and then it came up into auction again, and it was going for cheap, and I didn't even necessarily want to buy 2 copies. I know a lot of poor people out there, let's face it, they're all obviously broke. They complain, oh, you have multiple copies of these games. Well, 1, a lot of these games are going up in value, and 2, you could have bought it too for cheap, but you never did. You only complain about me having multiple copies when the price goes up. Nobody complains about somebody having 17 copies of Call of Duty because nobody cares. Nobody wants Call of Duty. But when, if this game went to $100, all of a sudden you're pissed off that I have 2 copies. Well, you should have bought it on eBay for $3 or $10 on eBay because it doesn't price chart for that much. Although it is uncommon, $11.90 on price charting, Canadian dollars. So I picked up the second one for $3 because I wasn't going to let it go for cheap. If I see a hidden gem game going for $2, I'm going to outbid you. I don't care. I don't care if I get 5 copies, 10 copies, 50 copies. I don't care. You're talking to somebody that's legally insane. Have you seen the shelves that I have over there filled with these Wii games? I don't care. Speaking of multiple copies, picked up 4 more copies of Mario Kart for the Wii. I keep finding them for a good deal. If I can find them for $20 or under, I'll buy them all day, every day. They bundle really well with a Wii if you have a Wii console that you want to sell. I have 2 Wii consoles that I do need to sell soon. I'm going to try and sell them local. And also, these sell on eBay all day, every day. They used to go for around $42 sometimes, or 40 Canadian dollars, sometimes a little bit more. I haven't looked recently. Sometimes they dip down to about 35. So I think it does fluctuate, but typically I would sell it for about $40. If I'm going to sell a copy on eBay, that's the price that I would aim for, $39.95, something along those lines. So translation, this is one to keep an eye out for. If you ever do find a cheap copy, it's a quick flip. Ooh, this was a really interesting one. Pony Friends 2. Yes, I admit it. I bought it. What did I pay for that? $5. Oh, dang. Not the best condition, though. I know it had some flaws somewhere. There's a slight dent at the back. Nothing too serious though. It's 2-player, and if you're wondering why I bought this, why did I pay $5 for this? CIB, of course. Is it because I love ponies? Is it because I like to play Gallop and Ride that I have 2 copies of for the Wii? Am I so mentally ill that I like to brush and ride these ponies with the motion controls? Possibly. But there's another reason too. Square Enix. And it's a very uncommon game. This is very, very uncommon, a little bit rare. But what blew my balls off was the fact that it said Square Enix. And I said, when the hell did Square Enix, the legendary Square Enix, who only makes the world's greatest RPGs, when did they lower themselves to making a shovelware pony game? I thought, well, wait a minute, it's got the Square Enix logo on it. It must be a good game. It's got to be a good game. Square don't make bad games. Most of the time. Square Enix don't make bad games. So I bought it. I picked it up. But then admittedly later on, I looked it up, and the only reason this has the Square Enix logo on it, they did not make this game. And this game does suck. It's not a good game. Which makes sense because they didn't actually make it. The only reason their name is on it, and the only reason they published it, is because they bought out Eidos, I think they're called. The guys that made Tomb Raider, Eidos. And Eidos was making this game at the time. So they said, well, rather than throw the game in the garbage, it's like we just acquired these guys, paid millions of dollars. We might as well slap our logo on it and release it. So that's what they did. Otherwise, that would have been a shovelware Eidos game. It was designed as shovelware. It's completely pure and utter trash. And I paid $5 for it. Oh, this is a freaking monster. Angry Birds Trilogy. For some reason, this game's going for a really high price. Don't ask me why. I don't know. The 360 version, nobody wants. The PS3 version, nobody wants. But the Wii version and the Wii U version, everybody wants. So if you're going to play Angry Birds Trilogy, these are the versions. I think it's because of the motion controls. The motion controls probably are what make this game that much funner. Because this is friggin' Angry Birds. Of course the motion controls are going to be better than using a controller. The closest that you can... Like, this was originally a cell phone game. So on the cell phone, your equivalent of motion controls is touchscreen. We can't do that with consoles. Other than, actually, you could probably do it on the Wii U, which I have. I have a copy of this game just down here in the corner. I'll show some of the sold listings on eBay. Oh, by the way, I paid $2. CIB. This is what the manual looks like. They really cheaped out on the manual. That is the cover. When I looked up a sold listing on eBay, CIB, it was the same cover. So that is normal. I thought I got screwed at first. $2 Canadian CIB. If you're telling me that you wouldn't pay $2 for this, you're an idiot. You just might be retarded. If you're sitting there going, well, I would never buy that for $2. Well, maybe you're retarded. Maybe you should probably go check yourself in to the asylum where I used to live. Because you belong in there, buddy, for being legally retarded. That's where they should lock people up like you. We used to put people like you in the asylums, and we would lock you up permanently back in the day. Back in the 70s, that's what they used to do. Next up, we got Resident Evil. Disc only, I paid $2 for it. Price charts for... I did not write it down. Oh, $11.90. $11.90. Here's something kind of interesting, though. I'm going to resell this. I don't want it because it's not CIB. Or I'll bundle it. It might make for a good bundle. I can bundle it. Because remember, I still have 2 Wii consoles that I got to sell. But I once asked a guy, I'm subscribed to somebody on YouTube. He's a reseller, full-time reseller. And I once wrote a comment to him. I noticed he was taking CDs out of cases, like low value games. He was taking them out of the case and throwing the cases in the garbage. Or he would reuse the case maybe if he needed a case swap. But a lot of them, it looked like they were just going in the garbage, especially if they're poor condition. And I asked him, why is he doing that? Why wouldn't you want to keep it in the case, even if the case is in good condition? Surely it's worth more with the case. And it wasn't until many years later that I figured out why. It's because some of the games, they don't make the weight cutoff if they have a case and or a manual. And therefore it can ship for cheaper, significantly cheaper. A disc only, I'm pretty sure I shipped the disc only game for like $1.19, something like that. Whereas if it had a case and a manual, it'll ship for like $3.50. And meaning it's actually more profitable to sell the disc only. So this one, I don't know if this case, actually, in fact, yeah, I bet you it's cheaper. I bet you I can make the cutoff. I'm not even going to, this case is going in the garbage. Or, I might use it as a spare case. It's not even that good of condition. But point is, it's a little eBay tip for you. Ooh, next up we got Guitar Hero Van Halen CIB. If you're wondering why I got this, one, it's rare as hell. And two, I would like to reacquire Guitar Hero for the Wii one of these days. I used to have it. I sold it because I don't have the space for it. Sold it locally. The best deal, it's incredibly rare. If you go on eBay, try to buy a Guitar Hero set, you're going to pay an arm and a leg. But if you can still get them for a good deal locally, but they're getting hard to find. I think the vast majority of these Guitar Hero sets, I'm talking drums, guitars, I think a lot of them ended up in the garbage can, in the trash can. Mothers threw them out. They're big, they're bulky, they take up space. Kids aren't playing them anymore. Into the garbage they go. So they're not cheap. They're not cheap. What did I pay for this? Okay, so I paid $18. I think I forgot to write what it price charts for, but it's a lot of money. It's not a cheap game, very rare. And so is my next pickup, Guitar Hero Metallica. Also very rare. These ones definitely had low print runs, and for a reason, being incredibly niche. They would have known that these would not have sold. You can't print 100,000 copies. There's not enough Guitar Hero players out there to even, especially, to spend this kind of money on a brand new game at the time. You would have to be a hardcore Metallica fan to justify spending the money on that game, or a hardcore Van Halen fan to justify spending the money. Otherwise, you just get the standard Rock Band game, 1 and 2, and you're good to go. You got a good mix of music from many varieties and not just metal. How about that? I paid a little bit more for this one, $28, but it price charts for $53.78 Canadian. Oh yeah, I think this one price charts for about $38. And they are climbing in value. Next up, I got it Just Dance 1 CIB. At least I hope it's CIB. Paid $7 for this bundle. Everything in it. Just Dance 1, and I'll tell you why. Because I know what you're thinking. You think, well, those games suck. Who the hell is going to buy Just Dance? What are you planning to dance? What are you, retarded? Gonna dance? Well, I might. It is 4-player. Maybe I will dance. But hold on. There's more to it than that. Just Dance 3. And the best Just Dance game is the Wii version, and they are the most popular versions because of the motion controls. They're the easiest to access. Just Dance 4. I didn't check the price charting on these, and to be honest, I don't care. Maybe one of them is a little bit rare. I'm not sure. The one that has Rasputin, I think that's the name of the song. I know that one's the most popular. And I think it's Just Dance 3. I'm pretty sure this is the one that has Rasputin. Is that what it's called? I don't remember. But I paid $7, and I was thinking I could bundle this with one of my Wiis that I'm selling, and somebody would buy this for their kid. That's what I was picturing in my mind. Worst case scenario, I sell the whole bundle for $20. That's $5 a game. I guarantee with that cheap of a price, somebody would buy it on Marketplace. I guarantee it. Craigslist Marketplace, I guarantee it. And, you know, I could try to get 25 for it. Sure. Maybe somebody will pay 25. Hell, maybe somebody will pay 30. But I'm just saying, if I wanted a guaranteed quicker sale, $20, I guarantee somebody would buy it. No question. Last up, Red Steel 1, which is a very unique game. Oh yeah, it's 4-player. Oh my gosh. I did not know that. Anyways, oh, it's not CIB. I forgot to write down what I paid. I know it was cheap. And I forgot to write down the price charting. Doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter anyway. Red Steel 1, I didn't get it for I didn't this came as a bundle. I also got Red Steel 2. I got these in a bundle deal. But I don't care for Red Steel 1, even though it's really interesting that it is 4-player. My understanding is Red Steel 1 didn't do nearly as well as Red Steel 2. Red Steel 2, it's a completely different game. Same franchise, but they mastered everything that they failed to do in Red Steel 1. Both of these are Nintendo Wii exclusives, and you do use the motion controls, but it's fun to use the motion controls. Now, the catch is this one is only single player, but it's single player because they put that much more effort into the game. They completely redesigned the game. You're basically chopping heads off with a sword, and you're shooting bad guys with guns. It's the Wii at its finest. Designed exclusively for Wii Motion Plus. Well, there's another example. The accuracy on the Wii Motion Plus was actually significantly better than the original Wii controller, which is also part of the reason why Wii Sports Resort, the sequel to Wii Sports, is trading and selling for such a high price, and why it's so sought after today, because it is a significantly more advanced version of Wii Sports and does have significantly more advanced accuracy with controls because it's a Motion Plus game. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I also have a Patreon link in the description below. I will also link to my Wii prices series. Nintendo Wii prices are going up series. When I finally finish that series, we're doing 100 games where the prices are going up. When I finally finish that series, I'm going to have a wrap video come out for that one, just like I did for the 360. And lastly, take a look at this. Die Hard Arcade for the Sega Saturn. If you know, you already know. You already know. Bubble wrap in here, I take care of my Die Hard. I take care of my Die Hard Arcade.
Rolling through the city with a pocket full of cash. Xbox 360, prices climbing fast. Got my eye on F113, gonna cop it real quick. But I got to hustle hard, the prices are real. Your mom's the plug, she got the hook up, no lie.